We're about to static fire the first heavy bulb engine. This is our ablative engine, and we're planning to get about 1,800 pounds of thrust for 2 seconds.
Should we just do a little, and go back down? Okay, awesome. We're gonna begin purge.
Beginning static pressurization.
It's literally a full body experience, right? Because you can feel the pressure waves coming at you. You can, see the light. You can just hear the, reverberations.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Igniter.
Smoke.
The car alarms! Oh!
SEB stands for Space Enterprise at Berkeley. SEB! The folks that started this humble organization did so with a degree of masochism. They saw the biggest hurdle possible and said, let's jump over it.
So far, there hasn't been a college team that sent a liquid fuel rocket past the Kármán line. So SEB's at least overarching mission is to build that liquid rocket, get past the Kármán line, and get it back.
Excitement guaranteed is what we always say.
So here's the rough timeline.
RFS stands for Richmond Field Station, and in it we build our rockets. It's about 10-15 miles over yonder in Richmond, as the name suggests.
Each week, I'd say we have 20 members, each of them working at least 15 to 20 hours a week. So it's 400 person hours a week, and then we're working maybe 30, 40 weeks of the year.
We've got team members that are working more than a full-time job on this team, and occasionally maybe putting this team above classes in their priority list.
We have the avionics team, the structures team, the propulsion team, the manufacturing team, the sims team, the business team. It all works like, I don't want to say clockwork, but it works.
We're gonna launch this rocket. We have to get this done. It's gotta work.
Who doesn't like to see rockets fly? It's a cool thing. I lived on the Space Coast all my life, so I could see rocket launches from my backyard.
8, 7, 6.
You had that final countdown, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
1.
Oh, you're just done.
Booster ignition and liftoff of Shuttle Endeavour with NASA's final space station crew compartment that brings a bay window view to our celestial backyard.
There's so many places on Earth, maybe besides the deep ocean, that I can kind of go, drive, or fly and experience. But outer space is something untouchable, almost, and out of reach for a lot of people. And designing hardware that can get there is just kind of extension of wanting to be in space, wanting to explore the unknown.
On people dying and everything, hit minimum like that.
Eureka 2 is a development rocket on the way to reaching our goal to get to space.
That rocket's 20 feet tall, so you can get the scale of things.
It's a progression from our first liquid bipropellant rocket, Eureka 1, which we launched at the end of 2022.
Our goal eventually as a club is to get to space, but Eureka 2 is getting to 20,000 feet, which is only around 8% of the way to space. So 20,000 feet versus space, which is 330,000 feet. So I'd say that it's not always our goal to go the highest. A lot of it is part of the learning process where we'll maybe design something that may not be super optimal for height, but it is a design process that we learn more about the electronics or the structures. A lot of things have changed from Eureka 1. One thing Eureka 1 suffered from was it wasn't the most stable rocket. So what that kind of means is as it was flying through the air, it was kind of wavy. And this caused issues for our parachutes and things like that.
Parachutes deployed, they ripped off the rocket almost instantly and didn't unfurl, and then Eureka 1 came down very fast and very hard.
9 go.
If you don't have a rocket coming down one piece, it's typically not considered a success.
There's a nose cone. Oh no, the main valves.
Engine.
Oh, that's the half of the radio board.
Oh, it is.
So for Eureka 2, we were much more aggressive with our testing campaign. We developed a whole solid rocket campaign called the Very Low Altitude Demonstrator, or VLAD, where we had a one-to-one transfer of the recovery system that was going to be on Eureka 2 and flew it on a solid demonstrator. We successfully recovered VLAD, transferred that recovery system to Eureka 2 in the exact form that it flew, with the intention that it would recover successfully.
There's so many things that can go wrong. There's thousands of parts on the vehicle. And now stepping into this role as chief engineer since January, it's been pretty nerve-wracking.
Propellant tanks, pressurant tank. In between is all of the plumbing.
Avionics bay,
Electronic regulators.
Avionics GSE box.
Ground station software. I mean, for one, when you launch rockets, if they fail, it tends to be pretty dramatic, right? Like, it either goes boom or it crashes, and it's like, it's not like you can hide it.
One thing can sink you, so you really have to get it right.
If you look at like other collegiate teams, right? So USC has sent a solid rocket to space past the Kármán line, but so far there hasn't been a college team that sent a liquid fueled rocket past the Kármán line. One of the challenges, the huge challenges with the liquid rocket, is you have literally a lot more moving parts than a solid rocket. You can think of a solid rocket like a giant firework. You light it, it goes up. Obviously, that's not to say that recovery, telemetry, building the structure, all of that, like that's all really difficult and has a lot of challenges. But for a liquid, you have the additional challenge of you're working with propellants. They could be high pressure, they could be cryogenic. You gotta move those propellants into the engine at the right time to not blow up the engine. It's really like a controlled explosion where there's a lot more things you have to do.
One of the things about liquid rockets is that a lot of reusable launch companies these days are moving towards that. And so it gives us a lot of the professional experience needed to approach that. With a solid rocket motor, once it's mixed and cast and designed and integrated in the tube, it's kind of like you have what you have. Whereas with a liquid rocket, right up until you launch it, you have a lot more fine knobs that you can dial in to get what you want.
Anything?
Yeah, fair amount.
When we're using liquid oxygen or liquid propane, we're dealing with things that are very cold called cryogens, and that can make it difficult to find parts that are rated by the manufacturer for those temperatures.
If you want to buy something like a properly cryo-rated valve, let's say, that can cost you thousands of dollars. And if your budget's only $15,000 for a whole vehicle, right, then 15 valves and your whole rocket's gone.
But one of the things is we have a strong engineering background. We know kind of what materials will work at these temperatures, how they react, how they change in strength, or how they change in performance or friction properties and things like that. So we're able to choose components with the right materials, with the right ratings, so that when they are exposed to these temperatures outside the manufacturer's guidelines, they are acceptable to use and will continue to function. So I'd say a lot of our valves are not actually rated for the temperatures we put them through, but they perform flawlessly, they don't leak, they're great.
Today is supposed to be the acceptance testing cold flow for Eureka 2. So this is the first real chance that we've had to test the entire thing integrated in one piece.
So the cold flow procedures aims to replicate what we'd actually do on the launch pad when we're launching the rocket. Once we've done checkouts, we go into fill procedures. So we start filling the rocket with high pressure gas.
Tank pressures are rising, 200 locks, 180 fuel.
That step is kind of the most dangerous step because if something goes wrong, we would blow up our tank.
If we are unable to get the rocket fully integrated in a short time frame where we can launch it, we're not ready to go to the desert.
Tanks are pressurized. We're at 480 psi in box tank, 470 psi in the fuel tank. High pressure is at 1500 psi. We're going to begin the repressurization procedure. Now we have to bend the line so we can allow the RQD to pop off.
We're looking at data rates. We're looking at valve actuator positions to make sure that valves are open or closed as they should be.
High pressure is at 4360. We're not going to repress. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I think the cold flow was an awesome success. We had the pressures we wanted in the system, we had the flow rates we wanted in the system, and seeing all of that before launch really gives me the confidence to launch and say that this rocket will perform as it should.
We launch at a site called FAR, or Friends of Amateur Rocketry. It's in the Mojave Desert, a little ways out of California City, so for us it's about an 8-hour drive to get down there. It's really far away from people, which is really good when you're launching rockets that are going really fast and you're not entirely sure where they're going to come down.
On the car ride there, it's just like a road trip with friends.
And then the hall. You guys all come in the same car, or do you come in separate? Yeah, we came in the same car.
Okay, so give me some highlights.
Oh. No. Wait, Civ 6. Start with Civ 6.
So yeah, the rocket, essentially, we break it up and we pop it in a U-Haul.
Watch your step.
Maybe a little more. That's gonna get a selfie.
Lift.
You're good.
And then you turn off into this road and it looks like it's going nowhere. It's really like kind of a Martian landscape.
So I'm working really hard with Putnam Mesa especially to make sure that everything's going according to plan.
Mostly gathering up like monitors and Ethernet switches and stuff like that.
We're just doing leak checks because if you can see a leak at 70 psi, imagine that at 4,000 psi.
Are we good? Okay, let's do the press.
When we got here, we took the Ape, we powered it on. We were able to get a GPS fix in 4 minutes.
All right, a little bit more in the back, lower slightly. Lower the back.
I think what's on everybody's mind right now is like the primary #1 concern is will we recover?
I'm worried about time mostly.
It's a very anxious process to almost see your baby leave the coop, fly the coop more accurately. But at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Hopefully we can send it up and then bring it back home in one piece.
It's very early. It's currently 6:13.
It's freezing, but I think the warmth of knowing that the rocket's going to launch today is keeping me going.
Dude, that's BS. Whoa. You're cold.
You're cold. I'm so cold.
Cold. Dude, that's not a good sign if that's true.
Wait, jumping.
Step on me! Step on 3! 1, 2, 3, step!
Sounds good. I've been given a heads up that radio dashboard will get situated too. Yeah, sounds good. Tell me when you guys are ready and we can stop power on the vehicle.
Guys, mind the wire, drag the rocket down. Don't stand up. Stand right where
Yeah, we're gonna check E-Rex, but we still have to check. You guys cool with the E-match / fake igniter installation?
Alright, we can keep going.
Yeah, we're good, guys.
Lock set point is 500 psi, fuel set point is 480 psi, and burn time is 45 seconds.
Lock sync is pressing 200 psi, 250 psi, 300 psi.
So we went ahead with fuel procedures. So the rocket was in a fully pressurized, fully fueled state. The igniter was armed and ready to go off, and then we lost the GPS fix. This happened very suddenly.
Okay, so we
were delayed to live video shorts.
Not having GPS is safe, but it really causes us issues down the line in knowing where the rocket is. That's its main functionality. We're going to fly because at this point, we can't recycle. And so we went ahead and we launched. So it's attaches trackers and line of sight.
Dashboard igniter key has been armed, and igniter and brake wire continuity has been confirmed. We are good to begin.
I don't know, I was like simultaneously trying to make sure all the pressures were good, everything was good. I was simultaneously trying to come up with something cool to say, which I didn't pull off. I kind of stuttered.
Okay guys, Berkeley, blue skies and bright stars. Let's go for this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I saw it go up, and then I couldn't see past the roof of the control room, and I stepped outside the control room, and it was pretty high, and there was some clouds and a bit of sun, and I couldn't really tell what was happening with the rockets. And then suddenly I heard someone say, "It came down, it's coming down," and I wasn't sure if that was good or bad until someone said it's coming in ballistic.
Yeah, it's ballistic.
On the way up, everything looked nominal. We reached apogee, and the drogue parachute deployed, also looking very nominal. We had a moment of full tension on the cable, and then it appeared to snap off of the rocket entirely and detach, leaving no recovery system to bring the rocket down in one piece.
What? Yeah, same.
It hit the ground.
Hit the ground?
Ballistic.
You sure?
Yeah, I saw the end of the live video, yeah.
I think it's kind of sad, just because all this work that the whole team put in kind of amounted to almost a pile of rubble.
What did it come
Will,
from?
didn't you see it come down?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Do you know exactly
Yeah,
what?
I have a line in the sand with some crumbs.
We brought it out, dug a bunch, removed a ton of soil, and eventually we started getting rocket pieces. First we got the things that were sort of attached to the outside, so like the fins, the live video mounts. That's where we recovered 2 intact SD cards. We then encountered parts of the main valve assembly and the engine, and eventually we got all the way up to the top of the rocket.
Launching any liquid rocket as a student team is a massive achievement, and despite the ultimate failure of the recovery system, I think that the project as a whole was a huge success.
We launched E-Rex. E-Rex flew. E-Rex flew.
At the end of the day, we still got a new Berkeley liquid altitude record. Hell yeah! Hey. Big deal. And let's just say, for the record, avionics did its job.
If this team was deterred by some setbacks, we would never get anywhere.
Like failures, at least with Seb, it's never the end. It's like you learn as much as you can from it, you analyze it, you go like, yeah, I understand what happened, here's the steps we're gonna do, we're not gonna let that block us, and we're gonna keep going.
E2 sits at a place on the timeline ahead of E3. It's meant to simply just be a stepping stone.
Eureka 3 is our up-and-coming project. It's going to be our spaceshot rocket. We're finally going to be trying to achieve the club's main goal to hit space and go beyond the Kármán line, which is 100 kilometers straight up.
One of the things that will be really different from Eureka 1 and 2 is that the rocket's going to be going much faster off the rail. Pretty quickly it'll be faster than the speed of sound, and then you won't be able to hear it anymore, which will be an awesome thing to realize.
Where we're going with our rockets is barely space, to be clear. It's like if, space is a massive ocean, we're just like touching the part of the sand that gets kind of moist, right? But it's still nice to be at the beach, I guess, if we're going with that analogy.
We've done a lot of testing, and we're going to constantly be doing more testing on the road to space. That's all part of the engineering process, and we'll know a lot more after our first Eureka 3 hot fires of tests.
So here we're looking at the Eureka 3 card. This is how all of our systems start. Almost everything on this card is custom made, from our remote ball valves to the tanks to our avionics GSE box.
1, 2, 3, 7!
We're aiming for our regeneratively cooled engine today to hit about 8.5 kilonewtons. This is our first firing of this engine.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Are we pretty much ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go. We're literally next step, Phil.
We got one fire. We're going to ask that everyone proceed to their bunkers.
330 psi in the tank.
We're here to do difficult things and to go somewhere that fascinates us intellectually and just from a pure curiosity perspective.
In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Igniter.
Smoke. Oh yeah!
Let's go!
That's great. Heavy bulb hot fire.
Just think for a moment of silence for how awesome that was. And
Moment of celebration.
Moment of silence for how awesome it was.
How about a moment of cheering?
All right, moment of cheering.
Wait.
Whoa!
What if we did a 7v7-3?
Let's do it.
But no one hits me in the face this time.
All right, let's do it. All right, ready, guys? 7 on me.
Wait.
7 on me. 7 on 3. 1.